Cool. Hey everyone. This week we're going to be talking about some cool stuff. You might notice that we're actually recording rather than live streaming. The reason for that is bandwidth is a little bit limited, so upload's going to be pretty slow. You're going to see 240p video. Doesn't make sense. So we figure, like a lot of this stuff is very much so easily accessible via YouTube and so on and so forth. So let's just record for now. So that's kind of what we're doing this week. It's a little bit different, but still the same great content, still the same great stuff that we've been doing this week. So let's just get started. The first one, which is a big one, is actually live reloading improvements. So we made a lot of changes with live reloading. One of the things we heard a lot was I have 90 tabs open. I have my content script injected in all 90 tabs. And when I do Command S on my VS Code or whatever, when I save my file, my content script file, Plasma will automatically live reload, which is great, right? Because then you don't have to like go into Chrome extensions, dashboard, click on the reload and all that stuff. But at the same time, I mean, just imagine 90 tabs reloading, refreshing basically all at once. It's quite taxing. So what we did was we made a change where rather than reloading every single tab, we reload the active tab, and then for all the other tabs, we actually have like a little button that says, hey, this content script on this tab is stale. We're not going to reload, but if you want to reload, just click this button. That way it's a lot more kind of user friendly. So that's a really big change in the live reloading process. And
Yeah, so it's also optimizing the whole live reloading pipeline as well. So now only one tab being reloaded, much faster. Yeah.
Right. So that's cool on the live reloading stuff. In terms of the environment variables, we had a person using Plasma that actually found this through his usage. Basically, if you guys saw our docs, we have this concept of Plasma underscore public. Any environment variables with this prefix are allowed to get injected into your production or development bundle. Anything that's not shouldn't be injected and should actually be treated as like an empty string. Our code to do this was correct. There was no logic issues or anything like that. We filter all those non-Plasma public environment variables out before we actually inject any environment variables. Unfortunately, because we use Parcel under the hood, Parcel uses .env, they actually inject all of the environment variables. They don't do any filtering stuff like we do. And because of that, these other environment variables that were not prefixed with Plasma underscore public were still being injected into the production and dev bundles. So one important caveat here, and it might sound scary, like, oh, my environment variables that are not public are being injected, what's going on? What this is really about is in your code, if you use process.env.some variable and you explicitly use that variable, it will get injected. If you're not using that variable in your code, it won't get injected. It's not like some sort of JSON object of all the environment variables are getting injected into the bundle. It's just the ones you use. So if you weren't using any environment variables in your code, they won't be in your bundle. We've fixed this issue. So the way we did it was we actually forked Parcel and we got rid of their injection. So now we have our own injection, and we've always had it. It's just that now we got rid of Parcel's injection, and we handle the whole pipeline from end to end. So Plasma underscore public, if you use these, you should be good to go. If you're not using them and you're relying on this kind of like behavior that wasn't intended, basically just prefix your environment variables with Plasma underscore public if you want to use them in the code. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, that should be it. So I think that this fix should plug a hole, right? There's actually a security attack that can happen, meaning that if if there was a malicious actor who is targeting an extension using Plasma, they could trick the extension to use a package like the npm dependencies, right? That actually trying to use a process.env dot some kind of variable injected right into their component or some kind of code, then when that extension being published, they can mine the data from that extension that way.
So if someone is using Parcel for building their extension,
Mm-hmm.
they're also vulnerable to this, right?
Precisely, yeah, they do. They will. Well, technically, with Parcel, so the Parcel has this feature with the JS transformer that allow user to specifying a prefix, so they can actually do that to preventing all of this as well. Yeah. For us though, because we want to interfacing directly with Parcel, and Parcel core passing every single environment variable directly. So we have to fork. So we did not fork entirely all of Parcel. We forked just the Parcel core part of it, which exposing the Parcel bundler that is triggering all the plugin of Parcel to create the final bundle. So we fork Parcel core to remove the part where it retrigger.env package. Yeah.
Cool. So that was the environment variable fix.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, the last but not least, is our Itero documentation improvement. So one of the things that we really wanted to do was not only highlight the powers of Itero and kind of what the platform entails, but also to help out existing customers kind of navigate Itero and figure out what is possible and also how to do certain things. Like for example, how can I link my GitHub so that every time a commit gets pushed to this branch, it gets built automatically and shipped to all my beta testers without a review process. We documented all of that. So if you want to take a look at what is Itero, what is possible, and so on, you can do that you can see that in the docs. So we have a framework section, Itero section. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything you want to add?
That's pretty much it. Should we actually go through a review of the doc?
So I don't think so because we're not doing demos of anything, right?
Got it.
But yeah, that should be all. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.
Awesome. Bye bye.
Bye.